first off, welcome guys to the show. So to start off, AJ, you're from Powell, Ohio, and Collin, you're from Phoenix, Arizona. Tell us both, tell us like what your high school experiences were like, and did you guys play other sports in high school? AJ, we'll start with you.
Okay. Yeah. So I played basketball and baseball in high school. I think I was a pretty good basketball player, but being so tall, that's kind of just like, that helped me out for sure. But played basketball all 4 years. Really enjoyed it. I feel like it definitely helped me stay athletic, especially when I was growing so much. Like my sophomore year, I grew like 7 inches. So that was like, basketball helped me kind of stay athletic along with baseball. And then like about my junior year, that summer going into my senior year is really when I started to get a lot of college interest for baseball, and kind of geared towards that. I was worried I wasn't going to get to play baseball or basketball my senior year, but the coaches that were recruiting me were really cool about it. And so I was glad I got to play all 4 years of both sports.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what about you, Collin?
Uh, Similarly, I played baseball and basketball. Was okay at both. Didn't have I wouldn't say I was great at either when I was in high school. But by the time I got to my junior year, about the same as what AJ was saying, I kind of knew that baseball was what I wanted to pursue, and so I played just 2 years of basketball, and then after my sophomore year, just focused on baseball, junior and senior year, and that was when I really started to see a lot of development and was able to start getting some offers and stuff for baseball.
Oh, nice. So I'll continue off again. I want to thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. You two were both getting into a little bit about recruiting. So what schools reached out to you guys once you were ready to go to the next level at the college level, and what made you choose the respective universities that you went to? I'll start with you, AJ.
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny, actually, Oakland University right up here in Detroit was like the first, or Utica area, like they were the first school that really looked at me and offered me. It was ironic. My summer baseball coach knew the coach at the time really well, and they had seen me play since like my sophomore year. The coach really liked me. So they were my first offer. I loved the campus, loved the coach, just didn't really want to play baseball in Michigan. Just the cold weather, I wanted to try and go south if I could. That was like my mindset going into it.
Understandable.
Yeah. So I played in a tournament then a couple of weeks later down in Cincinnati, actually, and a bunch of schools were there to see me, like from all over Ohio, like Wright State, Xavier was there, Cincinnati was obviously there, and then Elon, which was like the only school not from Ohio, North Carolina, they were there. And so I actually had an offer from Elon, and then Cincinnati. Actually, the coach for Cincinnati just asked me to come on down after I played that day, and that's when they offered me, and I committed like 2 days later. I just fell in love with the campus. The coach seemed like a really great guy, and he had a relationship with my summer coach as well. And I talked to him over the phone for a couple hours that next day, and he was just like, "I think this is going to be the right place for you." So it being not too far from home, it's only like a 2-hour drive from Columbus, Cincinnati is. It just felt like it was the right place to be. I kind of just prayed about it, and it just turned out to be the place that I felt most that I was going to be able to play at the highest level and develop and compete in a really good baseball conference too. The Americans are a really good conference. And so that's a decision I made, and I loved every second of it. The 4 years I played there were unbelievable.
Absolutely. So what about you, Collin?
So like I said, looking back now, I'm able to say that I probably wasn't as good as I thought I was in high school. And so, I was getting some offers, a lot of like D3 NAIA schools, a couple D2s. But, when you're a high schooler, you see people going to the Division I level, and you think that that's like the end all be all. And so that's your goal. And so, not having any Division I offers out of high school, I just wanted more. And so I decided to go to a junior college. I went to Glendale Community College, which was 15 minutes from my house in Phoenix. And my mindset going into that was, I'll go to community college, have a good year, good 2 years, whatever, get recruited by D1 schools, go on and play at that level that I wanted to play at so badly. And so, never thought I would ever go the JUCO route, so to speak, but it ended up being, the best thing for me. And I had two decent years there, and then went on to play. I actually didn't have any D1 offers out of there either, but looking back now, I truly believe that there was a plan in all of it, and I ended up right where I was supposed to be. So I have no regrets in any of that.
Can I say one thing about what Collin said? I just think it's really just like that I talk to a lot of guys about. I know I played Division I baseball, but I've learned so much through playing like summer ball now at the USPBL. There are good ball players everywhere. It does not matter. Like there's great ball players in Division I. There's great ball players. I've seen so many guys that are Division II or NAIA players or junior college players. I'm like, these kids could start at Cincinnati, or these kids could be starters in our conference. And it's all just about, so like viewers, young kids, everything. Like, yeah, Division I is, people say that they want to go there. Obviously the scholarships are really helpful, but I would recommend going to a place that's going to give you opportunity. That's just what I have to say about that. There's, if you're good and you work hard, like people will find you. Doesn't matter what school you're at.
100%. Yeah. And if I could just bounce back off that for a second. Yeah. I mean, out of community college, I went to an NAIA school, Indiana Wesleyan in northern part of Indiana. And going into it, I was kind of like, skeptical of the program, like how good can this NAIA school be? And just as soon as I got there, was blown away by the talent that we had. And then just in some of the teams that we played, there's good baseball everywhere, like AJ said. And so, yeah, it really doesn't matter what level you're playing at. I think the most important thing is to find a place where you're going to play and where you're going to get good coaching and development. Because at the end of the day, I could have ended up at a big Division I program and not being a guy that was at the same level as some of the guys that were already there. I may have just gotten pushed to the side and not gotten the development that I got at the school that I ended up at. So I think AJ makes a good point there.
Very well said. Very well said. I agree 100% with the kids playing right now in the College World Series or the College World Series playoffs right now from every team, like watching South Alabama's to my Chippewas for Central still playing right now. Like you said, Collin, to NAIA, to USPBL, independent leagues. There's good ball players everywhere. It's just just about working hard and just just knowing the right people and just work your butt off to get noticed. And that's the dream. So how long did you guys play for your schools, and how did the USPBL contact each of you?
Yeah,
go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Collin, go. That's fine.
You want me to go or you want AJ?
Go ahead, Collin. You start us off.
Okay. Yeah. So I played two. I'm backtracking a little bit. I'll go back. JUCO for 2 years, Indiana Wesleyan for 2 years. I had a medical red shirt one of those years. And so I used my 5th year in 2020 at Campbellsville University, another NAIA in Central Kentucky. We got about 3 weeks into the season before COVID sent us all home. Yeah. And like I said, I had an injury. I was coming off injury going into that year. And so I didn't really play much that year anyway. And so I kind of thought that was the end of the road for me. I obviously was hoping that I was going to have another opportunity. But with COVID and everything, they didn't play the minor league seasons. A lot of the independent leagues looked differently. And so I was kind of like, yeah, I want to keep playing, but I just don't think that's an option. So I went home, finished up grad school online from home. All the while still working out, still throwing, trying to stay in shape, just because that's what I've done for so long. I didn't know what else to do. And through that whole process, I just, for whatever reason, I started developing more and more, going to this facility in Indianapolis where I was living and working out with some really good coaches there, some other pro guys. And so I just got to the point where I was like, I'm going to give it one more shot. Started reaching out to some coaches, sending video and stuff. and sent video out to basically anyone and everyone. But the USPBL was one of the only leagues or only people that I heard back from, and they showed probably the most interest in bringing me in and working with me. And so at the end of the day, you know, I had a couple other options, but I thought the USPBL was just going to be the best place for me.
All right, it's awesome that you're here as a rookie in a sense in this league. And now with everything opening back up, hopefully that you get to just to see what this league has to offer you and you get the best opportunities. So AJ, how did the USPBL contact you?
Yeah, so like I said, played 4 years at Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. End of my senior year, got a couple feelers from teams during the draft, but things just didn't end up working out for whatever reason. So actually I went on a vacation with my family and was kind of deciding, you know, do I want to keep playing? Kind of like Collin was, you know, saying about it's hard when you don't get interest from people. And so you have to kind of take it within yourself and say, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure out a place to play. I'm going to keep working at it. So that's what I did. And I was actually down in Sarasota, Florida. My grandparents have a place down there. And Paul Nochi, Coach Nochi for the Diamond Hoppers, was at a showcase just trying to get other players, just looking for guys. And a scout that was there that my dad knows real well said, hey, like I know this guy, he's a pitcher, like you should, you know, take a look at him. And then he sent him a bunch of my video, and then Justin Orenduff called me, and I went up to Michigan, threw for him, and he liked what he saw and was like, yeah, we want you in this league. And so I just felt like, kind of like just Collin said, it just felt like a really good place to be able to come and develop. So I was here last year, which was crazy. Like Collin said, I was at home sometimes I was thrown out in my backyard with my dad just playing catch, because I was like, I had, you know, a lot of my teammates from college were all around the place. And so I couldn't throw with anybody really. I had like one kid, but with COVID, like we had nowhere that was shut down, and it gets cold in Ohio. And then once the weather started to warm up, it was a little bit easier. But then, yeah, we came and played last year, which was awesome. Regardless of the fans not being here, we got to play. So that was pretty cool. And then I was down in Sarasota, Florida the whole offseason, and then back this year, and really excited for the rest of the year. It's been a great start seeing the fans here and everything. It's been awesome. So Collin didn't miss out on a whole lot with no fans and everything. So he's getting better experience than we did last year. We had like 100 people in the stands period last year. So it's already been pretty cool to see some of the fans, and you can just tell there's an energy for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Aaron said, we appreciate you guys playing in the USPBL, and we hope that really offers you guys the most that it can. So next off, AJ, you did talk a little bit about not wanting to play in Michigan at first because it was cold, which I completely agree with you. It's crazy. But other than that, now that you guys are playing in Michigan, what were your first reactions to arriving in the USPBL and about the league? Like, what do you guys think about it?
I think it's awesome. I mean, I was saying more for college, I guess. Like when we got up here, it was 4th of July last year. So it was warm. Like it's beautiful here in the summer. And I had never really spent time in Michigan, and I've just heard that it's beautiful up here in the summer. And so last year it was awesome. It was just chilly a few nights towards September at the end of the season. Our opening day, actually, this Friday or a couple Fridays ago, was the coldest game we played all last year or this year so far. It was freezing. It was like 40 degrees, raining. But I mean, it rained at Cincy, so I was kind of used to it. Like it's cold in Cincinnati still, so I was used to playing in the cold and all that. But it's beautiful. I think it's an awesome place. Jimmy John's Field is you know, I think it's it would be a better minor league park, you know, compared to some of the parks they have. But they definitely really care about the league, and it's nice with the 4 teams and no travel and all that. It's got a lot of things that I feel like should draw players and fans to it.
Yeah. So, Collin, you're from out in the desert, out in Phoenix. So, what were your thoughts of coming in to the cold in Michigan and in the USPBL?
Yeah, so I spent a couple years in Indiana, going to school there, and actually I've got family living there now. So I've been in Indiana for a couple years. Those first couple winters were unbearable. I was just kicking myself every day, like, why did I come here? Kind of like AJ was saying, you always want to play somewhere warm, but in those winters, you know, even though I've been here a couple years now, they never get easier. But being here in the summertime, it's been beautiful so far. Like AJ was saying, we had that one bad day just to start the year. And since then it's been, pretty much perfect every day. And like AJ mentioned, just having the fans and everything, the atmosphere at the stadium it's incredible. Honestly, way better than I expected. Coming from playing at NAIA schools my whole life, this is the most fans I've ever played in front of. And so it's just been an awesome experience to not only play in front of the fans, but get to interact with them. Just seeing the smile on kids' faces when you stop to sign an autograph or take a picture. You can really just see how much they enjoy that. And so that just makes it that much more enjoyable for us. The facilities obviously are incredible here. And the USPBL does a great job with the production of the games and just everything that goes into it. So yeah, I mean, it's been above and beyond anything that I could have expected for my first year in pro ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's an atmosphere like we never thought that would, because me and Brian both grew up here. We never thought that an atmosphere like that could ever come in our hometown. And once it came, I believe in 2015 or 2014 when it came and they built Jimmy John's, it was awesome. It was just it was electric the day it opened, and it will continue till it can't play baseball no more. So Collin, since it's your first year in the USPBL, and then we'll go to AJ. But tell us, what was it like arriving and meeting all the other players? Like, were you a little intimidated by them? Were you nervous about coming in there and meeting these different guys in different backgrounds?
Yeah, nervous, 100%. Excited at the same time, obviously, but nervous for sure. First year for me playing pro ball. Obviously, the competition is going to be better than any that you've ever seen before. And so you just want to obviously feel like you belong. And not to say that I don't have confidence in myself, but, not knowing the guys before you get there and not knowing where they're from, where they've played before, there's guys that have pro ball experience. My first thought was just like, am I even going to make the team? And then once I did, get told that I made the roster, it was like, well, how am I going to contribute to this team now? But I mean, honestly, I'm biased because, they're my teammates, but I don't think there's a better group of guys here that I could be playing with. And obviously you get to know some of the guys on the other teams too, just being the 4 teams here, all sharing a ballpark. And so everyone that I've come in contact with so far has just been, obviously great baseball players, but great people too. And so our team has clicked really well so far. We're only 4 games into the year, but I feel like we've got some good team chemistry. We're able to pick each other up. We're able to, push each other. And yeah, I've just been really, really pleased with how well I've gotten along with all the teammates.
That's awesome to hear, especially with the season so young, Collin. So AJ, what was it like for you coming in, like with COVID looming and stuff like that? Tell us, what was it like for you when you came in? Like, were you nervous at all?
Yeah, I think for me, so one of our catchers last year, his name's Cameron Comer. I went to high school with him, and he actually had gotten signed by the Brewers and then released. And so he was looking for a place to play. And so I told him about the USPBL, and he signed with them. So we knew we were going in together. And like I said, he's a catcher, so I was throwing to him a ton. So that kind of worked out well. So I knew I had one person that I at least knew that was on my team, a guy I was going to be interacting with a lot. So that, for me, kind of calmed my nerves a little bit, I remember. But just like Collin said, you're worried, okay, am I going to make the team? Like, how am I going to be a starter? Am I going to be a closer? Like, am I just going to be like kind of the middle relief guy at the back end? You think about all those things. But I think last year with no fans and everything, it was just baseball. Like, you weren't focused on anything else. So I think that helped a little bit. Like, it was just, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to play and not have to worry about the fans, not have to worry about what people, are looking at, and so I think it wasn't as, like, I wasn't as nervous as I thought, you'd normally be with 4,000 people every day and all that kind of stuff. And then this year, it's definitely been a little bit different. Obviously, being the returner, we have like 4 guys on our team that were here last year. So just trying to set a good example, and especially even new guys. Like I've already met, like there's a couple guys on the Mammoths, a couple guys on the Unicorns that are new guys that they know. The baseball world's so small. You know somebody who knows somebody, and you just connect and you just talk. And um, we're all here for the same reason. And they did make a big deal at the USPBL about, if one guy gets signed on another team, we're all happy for him. Like we're all have one common goal. So especially like the pitchers, like if a guy shoves against our team, like, yeah, we want to win, but I'll be like, hey man, like that was awesome. Like, great job. Like we're kind of a family. The pitchers are kind of a family. The hitters are kind of a family. We're all competing against each other. We understand that. But it's a really good atmosphere for sure.
Yeah. If I could just say one more thing off what AJ just said, one thing that was, I guess, different than I expected coming in is that, yeah, like AJ said, we're all here to compete. We're all here to try and get to the next level and get signed by an affiliated team. But at the same time, like, it's just baseball at the end of the day. And we're all here because we love the game. And so, like, I expected it to be a lot more competitive. Like, this guy versus
more like cutthroat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want you to do bad so that you don't get signed. That hasn't been the case at all. And I've heard that about some other leagues where that may be the case. But that's been one of the things that I've really been impressed with here is just like AJ was saying, how well the guys get along, how well, like pitchers cheering for other pitchers on other teams, guys just wanting to see other guys do well. That makes it a lot more fun, I think. It kind of takes some of the pressure off. Obviously, you're going to go out there and fight hard. We still want to win a championship. That still means something to all of us. But at the same time, like, you want to see all the guys in this league do well. And so that's a really enjoyable part of it as well.
Yeah, because the USPBL from day one has preached that, it's all like it's a huge family, and it's people think it's such a small venue, it's such a small league, but there's over 30 plus guys that have been signed to pro teams or their affiliates. And for a league starting about 5-6 years ago, that's very, very impressive. And I assume there's going to be way more coming up this year. Hopefully, and I'm really hoping you two get signed as well.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
Appreciate it.
So
Thanks.
yeah, so that's awesome. That's just awesome to hear that you guys are adjusting well to this league. That's awesome to hear.
So I'll start with AJ once I say this, but you guys did talk about both playing multiple sports in high schools, but looking specifically in the MLB, Major League Baseball, is there any players up in the majors that you guys either looked up to or you try to play like?
Well, I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan. My dad was a scout for them for a while. And so I, just kind of was a Cubs fan. I had some family live in Chicago and all that. A guy I love watching is Kyle Hendricks, just because I think he's such a good pitcher. Like, today, the game's so much about velocity, which, yeah, you need for sure. But he just pitches real well. And like when they were in the playoffs, winning a World Series in 2016, just watching him just really command the game with his mound presence and how calm he is, I just really respect that. I think that in this game is so hard, you can't be too high or too low. And so I watch a ton of him. But then also, so my grandpa, he played in the big leagues for 17 years, actually. His name is Jim Perry. Yeah, he played for the Tigers, the Indians, the Athletics, and the Twins. And he actually won the Cy Young in 1970 for the Minnesota Twins.
No kidding.
So, yeah. So he's a guy that I obviously look up to growing up as a kid, playing, talking baseball and all that kind of stuff. And people tell me, my family, oh, you look like him and all that kind of stuff. Just like you have the high leg kick, like all that kind of stuff. So he's somebody just obviously as my grandpa that I look up to and, as a role model.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch good pitching, obviously, as pitchers. You got guys now like Jacob deGrom throwing consistently over 100 miles an hour as a starter, and Garrett Cole's up around there. And it's obviously you want to be those guys. You want to do what they do. But, as my game has developed and as my mindset has changed, I've really tried to find guys that are more comparable to my game and my pitching style, and watching those guys to kind of, fine tune the things that I do. like I'm never gonna move like Jacob deGrom moves, and I'm never gonna probably throw as hard as Garrett Cole throws. And so I growing up in Arizona, obviously I'm a Diamondbacks fan, which can be a rough life. But there's some guys on that team. Zach Gallen is a guy that comes to mind that I think has a pretty similar pitching style to me. I've started to break down a lot of his delivery and mechanics. And then I think of another guy, Aaron Nola on the Phillies. I would say is another guy that I watch a lot and try to model myself after.
Very cool. Very cool. So since you guys are different states, and I know the USPBLs have had a history of, since the players from out of states, they have host families. And do you guys have a host family? And how did that work with COVID and all that stuff, especially with you, Collin, coming in, and AJ as well, both of you guys coming in at the same time with COVID going around, and how's that worked? And in terms of your families coming to games and such, with your tickets and all that stuff, how does that work with you and your host family? Does your whole host family still get to come?
I'll go first because AJ, I don't think you're with the host family.
No, yeah, I'm in the apartments this year. I was with the host family last year, so I'll talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So I'll go first here since I'm living with a host family right now. Coming into it, they weren't real sure, with COVID kind of loosening up coming into this season. They were trying to get things kind of back to normal, so to speak. And so they were working on trying to coordinate some host families, but weren't sure how it was going to look. So it was kind of last minute for me. I got a call from the host family coordinator for the league about 3 or 4 days before I was scheduled to come up here. And she got me in contact with the family that I'm living with. And so I got to meet them over FaceTime before I moved up here. And so I drove the day that I reported straight from my house to their house, and didn't really know what to expect. First time I've ever lived with a host family. But it's been a great situation. I think the league does a good job of, kind of screening people that apply for the host family program or whatever you want to call it. And so they placed me with someone that they thought was going to be a good fit for me. And so far it has been. And you asked about if they're able to come to games and stuff. Right now, just with COVID protocol, we're not allowed to leave tickets for friends and family yet. So I think the league does give the host families 4 tickets a week. So they just kind of have to choose what game they want to come to. So they're not able to come to all of them yet, but hopefully sometime in the near future, they'll be able to come to all the games. And my host family, obviously they enjoy it. This is their 3rd year hosting player from the league. And so they love going to all the games. They love the atmosphere there. So they're hoping to get back to a full stadium where they can watch baseball and have it feel, normal.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So last year, like Collin said, last year I was with a host family and they were awesome. Kind of the same thing. It was really weird. Like I remember calling them and saying, hey, like they said, we're probably going to be coming in the next week or 2. I haven't had COVID. I'm not, not sick. I feel great. Like nothing, so it was kind of, they said it was depending on the host family. And my host family at the time said they were like, yeah, we want you to come. Like we've been preparing for you. So I went, kind of same thing, same day they told us finally. Last year was weird. Like they said, hey, we got a game tomorrow, so you got to come up now. And so people were coming in like late, people were coming in, so for me, it was lucky. It was only like a 3-hour drive. So I moved right in that day, and they were awesome. Really good people. I still have a great relationship with them. This year, they had some stuff going on with their family that just life happens. And so I had called them and they just said, we don't think it's going to work out for you to live with us this year. And I completely understood. And instead of just going with another host family, I thought it would be better for me just to be on my own, maybe be in an apartment, kind of get towards that phase more so of, living on your own, kind of back like in college. I just thought it'd be beneficial for me, like, becoming an adult in a sense. And so I've got 3 teammates that are all on the Beavers also, 3 roommates that are all on the Beavers that are teammates that are awesome. It's been great. I've been able to help them out because they're all new guys and I was here last year. And So yeah, that was kind of my situation this year with the host family and the apartment situation. But the host families, like Collin said, from what I've heard, I haven't heard one guy this year or last year that says they have a problem with their host family. I think all the families that have hosted are great people and they love doing it. Like Collin said, this is their third year. I know my host family said they were like, we'd love to have another kid if so much stuff wasn't going on with them. So.
Yeah, I mean that's great to hear. Like you talked about earlier, how great the league atmosphere is when you guys play games. And I think that's another just great reason on why the USPBL is so successful. Just also taking care of the players, like with your host family situations as well. So Collin, you talked about a little bit with how the pandemic has been affecting fans and like your host families. But when it comes to the actual players of the USPBL, because we've seen some other sports leagues kind of handle COVID differently. Like right now during the summer, there's a little leeway, I guess you could say, when it comes to whether there's vaccinations or, social distancing or whatever. Some of them are kind of being a little more lenient. But what's going on in the USPBO in regards to player when it comes to the mask mandates or just anything like that?
Yeah, so obviously they're starting to loosen up. Everybody, I think, wants to get back to normal as soon as possible, or whatever normal is going to look like from now on. But for right now, there's still protocols for us. One of the biggest ones right now is we can only have 7 in the clubhouse at one time. So we kind of got to go in and change in shifts when we arrive at the ballpark. Obviously, there's still social distancing when we're at practices and stuff. And, we do a daily health screening. We get to the field, get a temperature check, answer the questionnaire, all that stuff to make sure we haven't been in contact with anyone or not experiencing any symptoms. We got a COVID test the day after we got up here. Everybody had to test negative, but we haven't been tested again since then. Okay. And they're not requiring vaccines as of now. It's strongly encouraged. And there's some limitations for guys that are not vaccinated as far as interactions with fans and stuff. And so they're strongly encouraging it, but not mandating it. Like I mentioned earlier, as the season goes on, they're hoping to remove more and more of the restrictions. I think July 1st. I'm not too familiar with the Michigan mandates or whatever's going on, but I heard July 1st is another big date coming up for removing restrictions and stuff. So, at that time, things may change for us as well. But it hasn't been an inconvenience at all. I think we've all handled it pretty well. We know what they expect of us, and everyone has complied so far, and we haven't had any issues, and it hasn't changed the way that we prepare or the way that we play, or anything about, just the overall experience. I think it's been fine.
That's awesome to hear. And yes, July 1st is the big day here in Michigan with all the mandates and stuff. Still, with us growing up and, us living in Michigan, we don't understand what's the difference between June 6th, 2021 and July 1st, 2021. But, we're just happy that it's less than a month away. That's all that's what we're happy about. So now, AJ and Collin, this is one of the things we've done with every single one of our guests to this point. So rapid fire 7, just off the wall, random questions, just to get to know each of you guys. And so when Brian asks his first question, we'll start with Collin, and then go with AJ, and then so on and so forth throughout the entire segment. So, Brian, take it away.
All right, guys. So, what is your favorite summertime activity besides obviously baseball?
I love going to the lake. Whether it's in Arizona with friends or with family. We've got a lake house in Kentucky that we go to every year. We get 30 people from my family down there, pack everybody into this log cabin. And for a lot of us, it's the only time of year we'll get to see cousins, aunts, uncles, all that. And so that's always the highlight of the summer, going to the lake, hanging out on the water, in the boat, skiing, tubing, all that stuff. That, and then I like to play golf as well. So I golf quite a bit, even in the winter, but in the summer especially.
All right.
That's not fun.
Yeah, no, I play a little bit of golf. I'm trying to get into it a little bit more. I'm so tall, I have to get like I had to get super long clubs, and so finally I got a pair like last year, or 2 years ago. But my family just hangs out at home. Usually, like we like to grill on our deck. But it's funny, my parents are actually, like I think I said before, they're moving to Florida in July, and so I feel like my summer activity is going to become going to the beach. Like that's what I'm hoping, and eating like seafood and stuff. So we'll see that transition from kind of the cold weather, even in the summer, of like the nice summer in Ohio compared to like it gets pretty hot in Florida in the summer. So we'll see. It might be hanging out in the air conditioning. I don't know.
So, all right. So what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
That one actually came to me pretty quickly. So living in Arizona, we were pretty close to Mexico, obviously. And so my church and I would go down to Mexico and go on mission trips there every year and build houses and stuff. Is a great experience. But part of that experience is you're eating what the locals eat. And there was one day where we went to this taco stand just on the street. And, they had all your regular chicken, beef, pork, all that stuff. And then they had cow intestines, which they actually put on the tacos. And I was like, there is no way anybody eats this. But there were a ton of people ordering it. And I was like, you know what? I'm here. I might as well try it. So I ended up getting a cow intestine taco. And I don't know that I'd order it again. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's really rubbery and hard to chew. But obviously they season it and cook it pretty well. And so it's bearable, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing. And it's definitely the strangest thing I've probably ever eaten.
All right, AJ, can you top that?
I don't know if I could top it. It's funny though how just we're an American culture, so it seems like if you go out of the country, like Collin said, it just when he said like you're eating what the locals eat. I went to Europe with my family right after my senior year of college, and I just can remember like ordering. My grandma actually was the one who did it. She would order shrimp scampi. That was like her favorite thing. But it's like when you order shrimp scampi in Italy, it's like two huge like prawns that have the eyes, like everything still. It's not like the little shrimps at like Olive Garden. And we kept telling her like, this is an Olive Garden, grandma, but trying that was just like way, out of the blue that we weren't expecting. So I would probably say something like that in Europe that we tried, where it's just, you think it's American and you get it and it's just not anything close to what you think it's going to be,
All right.
Well, I definitely can't top those. So I'll just go to the next question. So who are your guys' favorite music artists and their favorite song by that artist?
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm a big country music fan. Love country music. I listen to a little bit of everyone. So I grew up obviously listening to some of the older guys, not super old, but like early 2000s, Tim McGraw, Toby Keith, those kind of guys.
Oh yeah.
But now, I mean, I listen to a lot of the mainstream guys, Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Jason Aldean, big fan of them. Favorite song right now, Morgan Wallen. I listen to his new album a lot. Silverado for Sale. That one probably comes on. I'd probably play that in my car more than any other song right now. But I would say my favorite song changes a lot, but I'll go with that one.
All right.
Yeah, I like Collin. I listen to a little bit of everything. I do listen to a lot of hip hop, but so I'd say my favorite like rapper, I guess, I listen to a lot of Kodak Black. I don't know why, I just like him. He's good. But my favorite like band group is 21 Pilots. Probably they're from Columbus, Ohio, actually. Okay. And so Tyler. He's from Columbus. He actually went to one of my rival high schools. And so he used to do a bunch of really small concerts in Columbus area. They kind of started there. And so then when they got huge, obviously like pretty much everybody knows about them now. They're big time. And so there's a song called Trees that I listen to before like every start. It's like the last song I listen to when I'm like stretching, warming up. And it's been that way for a couple of years now. So I would say that's like my go-to song just because it's always just puts me in a good mood. And Yeah, they're probably my favorite.
I love Stressed Out by them. That's a really
that's a good one too. I haven't heard a bad song of theirs. They're good.
So, what was your favorite cartoon show growing up?
Scooby-Doo, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
It's a
right.
great show.
I'd probably say SpongeBob. I feel like I watched a ton. I still laugh at SpongeBob today. Like,
So do I.
I watched a lot of SpongeBob growing up.
Those are great shows, both.
I would say I'd probably watch more SpongeBob now than I did.
Scooby-Doo is good. Like, that's
Yeah, Scooby-Doo's great. Scooby-Doo's great. SpongeBob's great. I remember watching Fairly Odd Parents all the time. That was awesome.
That's another good one.
Just classic Nickelodeon Cartoon Network.
Yeah. I mean, there were really none that I didn't watch. It was like
exactly.
Get up in the morning, turn on whatever's on. Get home from school, turn on whatever's on.
Exactly.
I feel like we all had the same routine then.
Pretty much.
So everybody kind of has like, goals or a bucket list, like stuff they want to achieve. So start with you, Collin. What's one thing like on your go-to bucket list or like one of your goals that you want to achieve?
Oh man, I think there's a lot of things I want to achieve in life. Obviously I want to have a family someday, family of my own, get married at some point. Right now that's not something that I'm really pursuing or thinking about a whole lot. Just at this point in life, I feel like there's a lot of other things that I want to pursue while I have the opportunity and give my full time and attention to. But I love kids. I love coaching. At some point, just having the life of having kids and coaching their little league teams and going to all their events and stuff, whatever that may be. That just seems like, kind of an ideal life for me. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot of other things I want to do. I want to travel. I want to, make an impact in people's lives, but probably the biggest and most rewarding thing would probably be just start my own family and being able to experience that.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, yeah, that's great. I think, like Collin said, there's so many things that, everybody wants to accomplish. I think both of us here, I think on our bucket list, we want to play professional, we want to play in the big leagues. I think that's a given almost. We wouldn't be playing
100%.
this if we wouldn't, But yeah, I just want to be, everybody wants to be successful and everybody defines success differently. I just think with talking about specifically with baseball or, whatever job it may be, it's just that you gave it everything you had. I want to be able to step away from baseball. It's on my bucket list to be like, man, I played baseball for, X amount of years and I literally gave it everything that I possibly had. I think that's like an accomplishment that, not a lot of people get to play. There's only so many professional baseball players at any level. And whether it's then, you're working a job, whatever it is, and, you want to enjoy it. And when you retire, you be like, man, I gave it everything I had. That's success. That's hard work. And obviously I'm same as Collin. I want to be married and have a family and have kids and watch them grow up and all that. And, I'm a big family person and, but just being known as a hardworking person and a good person is that's something that it's not a specific event of a bucket list of seeing something, but just kind of how you live your life every day.
Couldn't have said it any better. So in the age of social media and everything with Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And so start with Collin, of course. What celebrity annoys you the most?
Oh man, there's so many nowadays. Don't get me wrong. I love social media. I'm on everything. I can scroll through TikTok for 2 hours and not even realize I'm doing it.
There's always that one person.
At the end of the day, I just have to look back and be like, what am I doing? And why do I care what these people do?
See, when they got rid of Vine, I was like, I'm not doing TikTok. Vine was hilarious. And then I was
the same exact way. I was like, this TikTok thing is just a Vine wannabe.
Well, a ton of people did it. Did you get it over quarantine?
Yes.
That's when a ton of people were so bored. They're like, I'm getting a TikTok. And my sisters, and I'm like, I'm not caving. I'm not doing it.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Because my friends then would start sending me TikTok.
Yeah.
They would send you a link and it was I have to open it through the Safari or whatever because I don't have the app. And I was like, you know what? I'm just
my buddy still do that to me.
Yeah, well, same.
and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm still not getting it. That's fine.
Good for you. Stay strong. Stay strong. But I would say right now, and especially because it's coming up now, and it's kind of relevant. The Paul brothers. I can't stand the Paul brothers.
You gonna watch it tonight? You gonna watch that fight?
I'm hoping to. Are you going somewhere for it?
I don't think so. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it.
I think there were some guys over at the apartment.
Oh, okay.
I might go over there with some teammates. But I hope that I don't even remember who's fighting who, but I hope that they both just get knocked out. I'm so sick of hearing them.
If Floyd Mayweather loses this fight, he's definitely because he took a fall. There's no way he can lose this fight.
Yeah. Everybody already knows he's the better fighter, 100%. Like this fight shouldn't even be happening, but whatever.
All right.
All right. I'm probably going to come off as a big hater for this because I'm from Ohio. But I just don't really like LeBron. Like I respect LeBron. I think LeBron's like I think LeBron's the GOAT. I think he's the best player of all time. I do. I think he is. I think he is. That's my opinion. But I cannot. You talk about social media, and so that's why I was thinking. LeBron like congratulates himself on social media, and I just like he posted one time on Instagram. He was like, "Oh, congratulations to me for 30,000 points." Like I'm so whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, and it was like a picture of him drinking his red wine, whatever. And I'm just thinking if I posted an Instagram was like, "Oh, congrats to me on my 50th strikeout of the season," like that would just come off as so selfish and so just like arrogant. And I just was 100%. Like, I'm just like, all right, LeBron. Everybody already knows you're. The best player in the world right now. Like you don't need, it's just that just annoys the crap out of me. And I don't know. And all my friends, I think it's fed on now. I have tons of friends who are diehard LeBron fans. And I'm just like, like I'm not like when the Lakers lost the other night, I was happy.
I can agree with you on that.
Hey, same here, AJ. I was very happy with that. Well, we can spend another hour of the four of us talking about LeBron and all that stuff. But I agree with you in the sense that LeBron is one of the most arrogant players I've ever seen in professional basketball. And the only comparison I have is if Jordan had the same thing, was playing in the same era as us, I don't think he would use social media to, like you said, congratulations to me on 30,000. I don't think Jordan would do something like that. Yeah. But again, that conversation between Jordan and LeBron, that's a different topic for another day. Yeah. So,
I mean, I have one more question, but before I get into it, so happy that you said that, Collin, because I talk with so many friends about the same thing about because it's nothing against, because everybody's like a living human being. Like you're not trying to like be disrespectful, but like, yes, it's just the Paul brothers just hits me different. I just
it's so annoying.
But so last question, this one's a little off the table, so let me just prepare you guys. So there's a zombie apocalypse, right? And there's only 3 things that you need and want to survive. What are those 3 things?
Oh man,
I swear this is the last one.
Is this assuming that like I'm safe from the zombies and like I just need things to do, or like do I
gotta fight them off?
This is like day 1. Everything's about to go to crap, and you need 3 things to survive.
3 things to survive.
I feel like I've been asked this so many times, and I can never come up with the answer. It's like
prototypical conversation started.
I mean, obviously, you hope you're going to be alive for a while. So food and water is like a given.
Yeah.
Does that count as 2 items or 1?
I don't know.
We'll say that counts as 1.
All right.
All right. Yep. We'll count that as 1.
I'm going to have that too. You got to.
All right.
All right.
I mean, obviously, I'm trying to think of some kind of weapon that would – I'm kind of thinking like a tank is your best bet. Because like
that's a great answer.
That's a really, I wasn't thinking that.
You can shoot, but like you can also just like plow through them all. So then like I don't know. I feel like that's probably your best bet at like offense and defense.
Never even thought of a tank. I'm always
never thought.
Yeah, no, I was thinking like a baseball bat.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was not thinking tank.
And then let's see.
You got the food, got the water, you have the tank, and
I guess we'll go with a first aid kit just in case, somehow they get through the tank and, give me a little scratch or something. But
all right. So AJ, you got food and water?
Yeah, food and water for sure. See, because you definitely need a weapon, but I mean, a tank's good. I feel like I can't take that. I got to pick something different now. I don't know. I've watched a lot of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I've watched that like all the way through like twice. So I don't know. I was a big Daryl fan. So I'm gonna go with like a crossbow. because it's quiet, keeps them away. You can like, you know,
right.
you can use that. So I'll say a crossbow. That's a good weapon. You can reuse the ammo. Use the ammo. The ammo. It doesn't. I'm gonna say a Bible because you're gonna need some scripture. You're gonna need some help from the big man upstairs to get through that because that's gonna be, you know, that would be, you know, you'd be needing some advice from people that are not around.
All
Those
right.
are honestly the two best lists I've ever heard in my life.
Me too, honestly. So that's the rapid fire stuff, guys. Thank you guys for answering those questions. That was awesome. So getting back to baseball and the USPBL and all that stuff. So what is it like, you know, playing at Jimmy John's Field every weekend? Like, what's the strangest? Because we've had about 4 seasons ago, we had at the time he played. We had a diamond hopper and 2 unicorns on, and so you guys complete the full circle, being a mammoth and beaver. So what's the strangest thing so far you've seen at Jimmy John's Field?
I feel like I should have more. Colin's only been here for 4 games.
Right. Yeah. If you've got one, go ahead. I got to think.
Strangest thing. I mean, last year, I guess a play that happened that I had never seen, and you know, I'd been around baseball since I was a kid. It was on like the not top 10. One of the kids for the Unicorns was coming around third, and he scored, and the umpire was standing behind home plate, and he didn't see him, and he literally like trucked him like a running back, and the umpire went flying, and it was like on not top 10, and the kid went and like was helping him up. It was just so random, and I'd never seen that. I'd never seen an umpire get like run up because you see it happen maybe in like the NFL or NBA where they're running and a fan or a ref gets hit. But an umpire you never see him get like trucked. Like it was completely on accident, but it was just crazy. Like you know, he was okay and everything, but that was pretty wild.
I did see that actually.
Yeah.
On YouTube and everything.
So that happened last year. Nothing really this year. I feel like it's happened that crazy.
This year, yeah, I haven't seen anything too strange yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. You know, it's a long season,
wait.
so give it time. But I will say, was it last night? Yeah, we played last night, and they do whoever the home team is, they do a race. I think it's like in between the second and third inning where they pull a kid out of the crowd and he races the home team's mascot from first base to home.
I love that.
So last night we're doing that, and the mammoth comes around third, and his pants just drop like he's wearing a uniform and everything. He's got baseball pants on, and they fell, and everyone's dying laughing. Like we're all like, "Oh, that was funny!" Like they planned that. We find out later that was not planned at all. Like they just dropped coming around third, and I mean it was pretty funny. So
honestly, the best things happen when it's not planned.
It's true,
right? Yeah, because a couple guy that we had from East Side way back, he said he was calling up the bat. He was in the batter's box, and it was the USPBL special. It was like Thirsty Thursday and the $2 like tequilas and stuff like that. And one guy was he had his shirt off and just screaming his name while drinking all night, and that had him like thrown off for a while. So I mean, that's just some of the stuff that's some of the weird stuff that the USPBL has, but it's all in fun, all in good fun for the fans and for the players as well. So
yeah, we love our Michiganders. Next up, so you guys talked about how there's still some restrictions with the pandemic going on, but have you guys been able to do some like team bonding off the field, like bowling nights or any other bonding activities, even with the restrictions still happening?
There hasn't been any like team coordinated events or anything, but we spend a lot of time together. Obviously we're at the field all the time, but then usually after practice or after a game we'll go out to eat together. Me and some of the other pitchers have gone golfing a couple times. And I've gone over to the apartments and hung out at some of the guys' apartments there, watched a baseball game, play cards, whatever. So, I mean, we've never done anything like big or organized yet, but we always find ways to hang out. And obviously, like I said, our team chemistry, even this early on, has been like so incredible. And so obviously I don't know the area real well. I don't know anyone else up here besides the guys on my team. So, you know, when we're not playing, that's kind of like still who we want to hang out with. And just, even if we're not doing anything crazy, just find stuff to do.
Awesome. Yeah, just doing
Yeah, last year, honestly, we didn't really get to do a whole lot at all. It was tough. We went out for like a drink one time, I think, after like a Saturday night game, and that was about it because everything closed so late or so early too. So it was like you couldn't really go anywhere, do anything. This year, we've gotten together a couple times, like Collin said. We had just with the NBA playoffs going on right now too. We had like 7-8 guys come over to our apartment like last week to watch a couple, or there was like 2 games on to watch a game, and then last year with the host family, like I was like 30 minutes away. So it was kind of far. So it's like, do I want to drive 30 minutes? So it's kind of harder, but with the apartments right here, they're all pretty close. So I'm sure throughout the year we'll be spending more time. Like one of my teammates lives like 35, 40 minutes away from the apartments, and another one lives 5 minutes down the road. So that teammate will probably be coming over more, just based on how close they are and all that. Yeah.
That's fun. With the NBA playoffs, there's definitely a lot to watch with those going on.
Exactly.
It's pretty crazy.
This is the best time of the year. There's baseball, NBA.
Even NHL playoffs, if you're a fan of those, just a bunch of sports to watch.
We're almost there for football. We're getting there. We're getting
almost
close.
Yeah.
So you guys talked about it before, how you guys, want to play in the majors as a pretty big overall goal. And there's been countless players signed to the majors since this league has opened many years back. So I believe I know what you guys are going to say, but I just want to hear it. Do you guys feel you have what it takes to get that phone call from a major league team or an affiliate team to play up there?
And I'm going to piggyback on Brian just to add to that question. If a team called you right now, as we're talking on this show right now, is there any specific team, like a hometown team that you're that you love, like you, Collin, said, like the Diamondbacks and stuff like that? Do you hope, or just any affiliate of any team anywhere?
That's a good one.
Yeah. So I'll start by answering Brian's initial question. To be honest, yeah, I think I do have what it takes to at least get into an organization. I'm not saying I could go pitch in the major leagues right now, but with where I'm at in my game right now, I think I could contribute to a minor league team and work with their pitching coaches and coordinators and all that to develop and eventually get to that level. Like I said, my development, I was kind of a late bloomer. My development has come pretty recently. And so I still feel like there's a lot left in me that's untapped. And that was part of the reason that the USPBL was so attractive to me, is just because they do such a good job of developing pitchers and helping them, reach their full potential. And so that's part of the reason I came here. But I also think that a lot of major league organizations do a good job of that as well. And so obviously I'm hoping that that's what happens, is to get signed and get into an organization that's going to be intentional about developing me and hopefully moving me up, through the ranks and to the major leagues eventually is the ultimate goal. Obviously, any team that calls you up, you're going to take it in a heartbeat. I don't care who it would be. If I had to choose, or if I could choose, like I mentioned, I am a Diamondbacks fan. But similar to AJ, I had a lot of family from the Chicago area. I was kind of raised a Cubs fan, and still to this day cheer for the Cubs. And so I Wrigley Field is probably my favorite ballpark in the country. And so just to be able to play there and play for the Cubs, I think would be kind of a dream come true.
Extraordinary. So AJ, what do you think?
So yeah, going back to your question first, Brian. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that I have what it takes. I think that this league too does a great job of like developing guys. And I think last year I learned a ton, and then was able to go through the whole off season, made some changes, and it's been a good start to the season. It's been strong. And I think just getting a little bit more, whether it's, a little bit more velocity, executing just a little bit better. I think that's what, most guys are in this league. They just need like that little something to kind of put them over the edge, or to get them to a point where Justin Orenduff talks about, like, you get to this, and this, like you're a guy that people want to sign. And so pretty much everybody here is like either just that one little piece away, whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think I could go in and definitely pitch, execute, help an organization for sure, and just keep getting better. Like Collin said, you're never going to be satisfied. You're always going to be getting better. Jacob deGrom, even, like, he still probably is like, man, I could still get better. I mean, he's better this year than he was last year right now. So, getting with different coaches and just learning and consistently learning and consistently working hard, it's going to pay off. And, but yeah, I mean, being a Cubs fan, I got to say the Cubs. I think that'd be a dream come true. But like Collin said, any team that would call, I'd be more than, I'd be great. So just grateful to have an opportunity to play for somebody that wants me there for sure.
Absolutely. And we're hoping that both you guys end up getting to that path that you want to reach eventually. So, and we'll be following you guys no matter what.
Okay.
So
Appreciate it.
Well, finally, AJ, you're it's early on in the season. Though, but you're 1-0 so far start the season, 11 strikeouts. And Collin, as a relief pitcher and a closer, you have 2 strikeouts and a safe so far as a rookie. So, starting with you, Collin, since you are the rookie, what's going through your mind before each pitch?
Yeah, so it changes based on the situation, obviously. Coming in with a clean inning with a 3-run lead is obviously the most comfortable thing as a closer. You can kind of just, try and throw as hard as you can, let them hit it. Coming in with a 1-run lead and, maybe if you get a couple runners on, you got to execute a little more. And so my mindset when I run out of the bullpen and just go take the mound is just, to tell myself that nobody can hit me. I want to be aggressive. I want to, attack in the zone and put the pressure on the hitter. I think that, I don't know how to say this without being cocky, but I think I have some of the best velocity in the league. I've been up to 94 so far this year. And so I think for a lot of guys that are rookies, a lot of them maybe haven't seen that before. And so I'm able to just blow that by some guys. And then I've worked a lot on my secondary pitches. My slider especially has become a put away pitch for me. And so I think just, knowing when to throw each pitch. Like I said, if it's a guy that's not going to touch my fastball, there's no reason to throw anything other than that. If it's a guy that's, maybe got a little more experience, if I notice a hole in his swing somewhere, we'll be able to throw the slider and keep him off balance. But I love being in the closer role. It's a role that I haven't really had before. I closed a few games in high school. I wasn't really a pitcher in high school. I played outfield primarily, but would come in and close some games when we needed it. But it's a role that I was looking forward to coming in. They kind of told me early on that this is kind of what they saw me doing. And so I think, it's a lot of fun to come in and have, the pressure of the game on your shoulders, closing out a win for your team. It's a lot of fun.
That adrenaline rush is big time.
Yeah, big time.
I did it in college some, and it's just like the feeling's awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
I know.
So, all right. So AJ, same thing goes through your mind when you take the mound if you start a game or you have to come in or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm primarily a starter, and I kind of felt like through college, I was always a starter in high school, and through college, I kind of moved around. Like my freshman year, I was like the close. I got opportunity to pitch kind of towards the back end of the bullpen, and had some really good success my freshman year in college, and they kind of stuck me back there. And I was throwing like mid 80s, and I was just like mid high 80s. I was just executing really well. My sinker is like my main pitch, has a lot of movement on it. I was just executing. And so then as I got older, by the time my senior year, I was Friday night starter at Cincy, and So I kind of changed that role. That mindset is a little different. Like Collin said, obviously it's just getting people out. I mean, that's the name of the game. But starting is definitely different than you don't have a 3-run lead or even a 1-run lead. You know, so my biggest thing when I start every game is like you want to give your team a chance to win. And that's why they have the stats of like quality starts. Like you want to give your team a chance to win. But it definitely changes based on the situation. You know, like against the Unicorns the other day, we had a huge when I started, we got a huge lead early. And so it just allows you, I said it in the post-game interview, it just allows you to be a little bit more aggressive, saying, you know, even if I gave up a run, nobody's trying to give up a run, but it's not going to be the end of the world because you have like a 5-run lead. You know, you can be a little more aggressive in the zone. You're not nibbling as much. But just like Collin said, it's reading hitters. It's, you know, different at bats. And it's funny this year for me too, there's a bunch of guys who were here last year. So there's guys who have had like 30, 40, 50 at bats off of me. So, you know, Collin will feel that out too, of once it gets towards middle end of the season and guys have had 10, 15, 20 at bats against you, maybe you're going to have to mix things up. You got to be, you know, so just executing pitches though. That's what I think about. My dad always taught me growing up is he would ask me, what's the most important pitch? What's the most important pitch? And the answer is the next one. So you execute a pitch. Okay. How am I going to execute this next pitch? And you execute, you know, majority of your pitches, you're going to be successful. So that's kind of my mindset before every pitch is execute this thing, you know, whatever it may be.
Absolutely. Hey, what a fantastic show. That was very funny, the answers those guys gave, especially in the Rapid Fire 7. I don't think we ever had a session like that since we've been revived since the pandemic like that. That was really funny.
Then with the other answers as well for the ones that were Rapid Fire, they just gave some, you know, very inspirational, very motivating answers. It's just really good for all of us here.
Yep. So that's now 2 episodes down, 19 more to go until this show is done completely. So make sure to subscribe, like it, hit that bell icon so you know when you can get notifications when we post the 3rd installment. So follow on Facebook at Aaron Gemmel, THSST, for the Hot Seat Sports Talk. And then for Instagram, _Hot Seat_Sports Talk as well. And Brian, you're doing double work doing this show in its final season, and you're also on Team Shower.
Yeah, Team Shower is another up-and-coming sports talk show. Pretty similar to the Hot Seat. Yeah, it's pretty similar to the Hot Seats, but it's just with it's a different cast kind of doing the same thing once the show ends. So yeah, so it's me, Eric, Ben, Jacob. So make sure you guys search it up on YouTube, Team Shower. You'll find it instantly. Just check us out. We're great. Just like this show, it'll be fun.
Yep. So a new show upcoming as this one's coming to a close. So, and that will do it for the 2nd installment. Make sure you keep update with all of our posts so you get ready for the 3rd installment. It's going to be great no matter who is on there. And social media will get a big post and stuff like that when the announcement of the next guest is going to come out. So until then, as always, keep it fresh.